Hi, my name is Elizabeth Cohen, and I'm an Associate Professor of Communication Studies at West Virginia University. And hopefully, you are watching this because you are a student in my class. This semester, I am teaching a class called Computer Mediated Communication and Professional Identity. I actually did not choose the name for this class. If I had chosen the name, it would have been something more like social media and identity or something along those lines. I guess really that's the first thing you should know about this class is it's the first time I'm teaching it. And not only that, but I only found out I was teaching it a couple weeks ago. So as we speak, I'm still kind of trying to figure out all the different things that I want to cover in this class and how I want to approach the material. There's definitely overlap with how the class has been taught before. So if you're taking this class for a second time, I know sometimes, not that you would have failed or anything. No, but I do know that sometimes people start taking a class and then things come up and they've got to drop it and take it some other time and things like that. So if you're in that situation, you might find a very different syllabus from the last time it was being taught. But I am trying really hard to kind of keep with the spirit of what the class is supposed to be about while including some things that I think are just really important to cover in any type of social media class. Okay, so what is this class? Well, this will be a lot about how we use social media to convey different parts of our identity. And as far as the professional component goes, I'm a little bit more lax on that. A lot of people will use social media to advance themselves professionally, and we'll be talking extensively about that. But I am of the belief that even if you don't use social media to advance certain professional goals, everything you do on social media definitely ties into your professional life. And for the record, a lot of people think that those two things should be kept separately, and I am not of that school. I actually think that most employers are very interested in knowing personal things about you, not like too personal, not like a TMI thing, but I think that the old adage that you should make sure that your social media accounts are squeaky clean because you don't want to, for instance, ruin any employment opportunities is a little bit too strict. And I actually think that having a really good personal social media presence can actually help you professionally in various ways, which hopefully we'll talk about later in the semester. Anyway, that's so vaguely what this class is about. It's not really what I want to spend the time on today. I just really wanted to go over this thing, your syllabus. You can find this, if you haven't already, on eCampus if you want to follow along. I'll wait, or you could just pause this. And I just want to cover the basic procedures in the course and the different types of assignments. So I'll just go through the syllabus as I'm looking through it right now, step by step. The first thing you should know is, okay, and again, apologies, there is a book for this class. You may have been told that there's not, but again, that's just because I was kind of late to finding out that I'm teaching the course. But here's the good news. The book is not something that you need until the last 3 weeks of this course, so the last 3 weeks of July, I guess, so you have a little time to get the book. The bad news is because I found out late I was teaching this, I wasn't able to order anything at the bookstore, but the good news is it's like available everywhere. It's actually a popular press book. It was written by a professor, but it was not written like for like hard-nosed academic types in the ivory tower. It was written for people like you and me. I am one of those academic types, but I can read pop press stuff, and I do think it's a lot more entertaining. The book is called Contagious, and honestly, you could buy it used. You can probably buy it used for like $5, I'm guessing. You can probably buy it new for between $13 and $20, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. I confess I haven't looked it up. But it's written by Jonah Berger. The information is here on your syllabus. I'm in my office right now. I left the book itself at home because I'm rereading it while I'm prepping for this class. But I can tell you, I don't know, you can see on your syllabus, there's a picture too. It's got an orange cover and it's got a picture of a light bulb with kind of a dandelion, and it's called Contagious because it's all about what makes things spread. We're going to talk about like how to make content that people want to share and engage with on social media, and we're going to get a lot of information from that book. So that's the only thing you need to buy for this class. All of the other readings, which you can find if you look at the course schedule in the back of the syllabus, it's just like a grid there with different topics and assigned readings. Most of those readings will be available on eCampus, or if you don't even want to log into eCampus, you could actually, save a copy of the syllabus to your desktop or something, and not all of them, but most of the readings on here, not including the book, obviously, are things that you can access by just clicking the link. So what kind of readings are we going to cover? Well, obviously books, and we have a book and we have book chapters, but also this class is going to draw from a lot of popular press sources, so articles from the New York Times or Vox or other types of, I'm trying to think about some other ones that are in there off the top of my head. I can't, maybe Washington Post and Wall Street Journal, articles that you would find in the news. I like that because, well, there's really not good textbooks for the types of things we're going to be talking about. A lot of the things that we cover here are what I would consider kind of current topics. Having said that, I actually know in one instance we're going to be reading a news article from 2008, but it deals with topics that are related to social media and identity that are still really relevant. We're also going to be reading, though, some more, I would call heavy reading. If Pop Press is a light reading, we're going to be reading academic journal articles. Not too many. I would never usually assign more than maybe one a week. But the reason I'm telling you all this is because if you look back at all the readings that I have assigned for each week, you might be like, whoa, how is she going to expect me to read like 6 readings a week? Well, if there are 6 readings assigned, chances are a lot of those readings are going to be like more Pop Press driven pieces that wouldn't take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to read. When I assign an academic journal article, which could take you more like an hour to read, those types of things I try not to boggle down with too many other readings. So I just want you to keep that in mind. The amount of time you're going to have to spend reading each week might be variable, but I wouldn't base that on how many readings there are, because all the readings are going to be very different. We'll be reading some book chapters too. So having said that, I do recommend maybe at the beginning of the week, even if I know a lot of you can't start working on your assignments until the weekend, but I would really strongly recommend at the beginning of the week just giving yourself kind of a preview of what you're going to have to do to make sure that you can allot appropriate time for whatever readings you have to do. I have a little caveat in here about like social network sites. I used to, and those of you who have had Dr. Bowman may have had this too. I used to have like a Facebook group to chat with my students, and I actually really loved that. It was nice to be able to share content and stuff like that. And, this is a social media class, so it would make sense. But as we'll talk about, I'm not really a big fan of some of the contracts that you have to make with social network sites to be a social network site user. So I feel, I've started to feel kind of weird about forcing my students to join a social network site just so they can participate in class. And so for that reason, I don't have any requirements like you have to join this group in order to participate or anything like that. But as a social media instructor, this is hard for me because it is a class on social media, so you do have to be able to engage with some social media, but I'm going to leave what social media you want to get involved with and how you choose to engage with it up to you. Later in the semester, you're going to have to do an analysis of somebody's social media presence, which means that in order to see their presence, you're going to have to get into social media. That may or may not require you establishing an account with different social media platforms, whatever, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever you have it. So you have some flexibility in which social network sites you choose to engage with. However, you do, if you want to take this class, need to be prepared to engage with several social network sites in order to complete the assignments. In fact, actually, it's maybe not even be your final project. Some worksheets throughout the semester might ask you to look at some social media accounts and talk about them. So again, that's the caveat. I'll give you a lot of flexibility in terms of which social network sites you want to involve yourself with, but you need to be prepared to look at social media sites because, again, we're studying social media. If you need to contact me, email. I check it a lot. I check it less on the weekends, especially in the summer when I have a little more flexibility. But I definitely will check email way more frequently than eCampus. I do check eCampus once a day, but don't try to contact me through that. It's just not as efficient. And eCampus, as most of you probably know by now if you're taking this class in the summer, is kind of wonky. And it goes down on like Sundays for certain times and weird stuff like that. So please, if you need to reach out to me, email me. If you want to talk on the phone or even meet in my office, I'll be in Morgantown most of the summer. We can arrange that too. But I always say start with email and then we can figure out how to meet or talk on the phone if that's what we need to do. Okay, so how are you going to be graded in this course? How are you going to get that A so you can graduate? Or B. B's are fine. B's get degrees too. Well, there are basically two major assignments in the class, but on the little thing here where I have grade distributions, you can see there's like 3 assignments. Okay, so the first one's really easy. There's a syllabus quiz that you got to do this week. Do that syllabus quiz. The catch is, and those of you who've had me before will recognize this, the catch is that you have to get the answers right in order to get any points. Take the quiz as many times as you need until you get all the questions right. The quiz itself is worth 12 points. If you answer all the questions right, you get 12 points. If you answer 11 questions right, you get 0 points. Because the whole point is I want you to know all the things in the quiz. So take the quiz as many times as you need before the deadline, which is Sunday at 11:59, to get the 12 points. And then the other thing I need you to do this week is go on the discussion board, introduce yourself. Even if I know you, maybe some other people in the class don't. So just brief introduction, icebreaker type of stuff. And I have a couple of questions I want you to answer about your social media, just to help me. They're just, questions I have because I'm curious about how you use social media and stuff like that. That's worth 3 points. So this week, the only thing you need to do, go on the discussion board, leave an introduction, take your syllabus quiz. Read the syllabus too, which will help you with your quiz. The other, the biggest thing you're going to be doing this semester, and it's worth the most points, is you're going to be doing weekly worksheets, assignments, quizzes, tests, whatever you want to call them. Basically, these are things on eCampus. So if you've had me for my social marketing class where you had to like download a Word document, we're not doing that for this class. This class, everything you can do right on eCampus. It's basically a quiz, but it could include multiple choice questions, essay questions, short answer questions. It's questions about your reading. Sometimes, a lot of times, they're going to be questions that ask you to explain different things. I'm trying to assess if you understood what you read and test you on your knowledge. Sometimes I'll ask for a little bit more critical thinking. I'll ask you to construct some sort of argument where based on the things that you read, you synthesize your readings to make some sort of point or express your opinion. But these are not journal entries, okay? I really don't want a bunch of, well, I think, and my opinion is, it's obvious that you're expressing your opinion whenever you write something, like everybody's always expressing an opinion, even if they're using facts to do it. But I don't want you to treat this as a reflection exercise. I want you to take the readings and if I'm asking you to make some sort of argument and present evidence for some sort of case. So I'll be grading you on your ability to do that. But again, sometimes you'll just have some true or false questions in there, which will just, take a minute for you to hopefully make a very educated guess. The way I recommend you going about doing this is first looking at the worksheet, then doing your readings, and then going back to the worksheet. That way you can kind of get an idea for the types of things that I want you to tap into, so you'll have that in your mind when you go into your readings, and then you can come back and hopefully formulate your answers a little bit better. The worksheets are really the only thing you're going to have to do each week. But because some of them, again, require short answer and essay questions, you want to give yourself a little time. You're going to need to have time to not just do your readings, but then go back and find the things I'm asking you to find in your worksheets to sort of bring that back in. I will be grading you, of course, on accuracy. So on these worksheets, if you're actually saying things that are wrong or inconsistent with what you read, you know, you'll lose points for that. I'll be grading you on your ability to express yourself and explain the ideas that we're learning in this class as well. So for that reason, you really need to avoid taking quotes from your reading. I may have said this in other classes. It's kind of a mantra of mine, but if you take a direct quote from an article that we read and use that to answer a question, that's not showing me that you understand anything. That's just showing me that you know that somebody else knows what they're talking about. So don't use quotes in these short answers or essays that I'm asking you to do. What I need you to do is show me that you can explain it using your own words. So do that. And finally, at the end of the oh, before I get there, one more important point. Technically, there's a worksheet due every week except for this week, but I'm only going to be counting 10 of them. Wait, is it 10? Yeah, I'm only going to be counting 10 of them in your grade. So that means that if you don't do a worksheet one week and you get a 0, that 0 won't actually count to your final grade. Yay! So that's a freebie, but I always say, like, you know, if you're smart about this, you'll save it in case you have some sort of emergency, so that, you know, if something happens and you get sick and you're like, there is no way I'm going to do one of these crazy worksheets this week, that's fine. You have that freebie that you can go to. But if you don't use your freebies, then it might really help you at the end of the semester when you're working on a final project, because you can say, you know what, I'm not going to do the worksheet this week so I can focus my energy on this, right? It's just kind of a nice treat to have at the end of the semester. So that's my recommendation. Take it or leave it. So what is the final project? So the final project is going to be a social media presence analysis. And I will be honest with you, as I'm doing this video, I'm still kind of formulating all the requirements for that, but in a nutshell, you are going to have to choose like either a company or maybe a social media influencer, or like somebody who's kind of Insta famous, if you will, who's made a name for themselves on YouTube or another social media platform, and you need to analyze their entire social media presence. How are you going to analyze it? Well, the whole point of this assignment is kind of think about it like a final exam where you apply all the concepts that we've been talking about throughout the semester to critique what somebody else is doing on social media. I haven't decided yet, give you the option to analyze your own social media presence. I really haven't decided. That's a possibility. And if that's something you're really into, drop me an email and try to convince me. I have mixed feelings about it. Because there's a part of me that wants you to analyze somebody who already has a big presence, and I'm not sure if all of you do, so I'm not sure how much flexibility I want to give in that way. But I'm open to it, so just think about it. Anyway, I'll have more details about that. When I have more details, maybe even by the time you're watching this, I'll post those on eCampus for you. Another thing I'll just mention, though, is I do want to be able to approve whatever entity, whatever organization or influencer you want to focus on is going to need to be pre-approved ahead of time. But again, I'll have more details about that as the semester goes on. Okay, that's it though. So you've got 240 points in this course, and 150 are based on those weekly worksheets, so that's a lot. 75 will be based on the final project. That's also a lot, but not as much as the worksheets. And then 15 points will just be for what you do this week, which is the syllabus quiz and the intro discussion. You can read all the policies, academic dishonesty, be honest. I think the only thing I want to bring up is my policy on late assignments. All assignments are going to be due, all of the worksheets, not all assignments, all of the worksheets are going to be due at 11:59 on Sunday nights. You need to turn them in then. I do not accept late assignments, in part because you have all week to do it. So, try to do it early if it's going to be an issue or whatever. But also I have that freebie in there. So if you're having trouble getting something in, just don't even worry about it. Take your freebie or something. So I don't accept any late assignments. The only exception is because it's worth so much, your final project. Your final project, you need to be aware, is due on a Wednesday. And I'm sorry about that. I love to keep things consistently, but if you've taken these summer classes before, you know the semester ends, not like the last week is not a complete week, it's like a weekday. So it ends on a Friday, which means I need to have some time to grade things. So your final project will be due on a Wednesday. So just take a note of that. Take note of that. I think it's a question on your syllabus quiz. So, you know. Anyway, that's this in a nutshell. Maybe I'm not even telling you anything interesting. I don't know. You could have just read this yourself. Hopefully, actually, though, if you listen, if you watch this video, you already have pretty much all the stuff you need to go and do that syllabus quiz. So go ahead and take care of that. And I really look forward to seeing you on the discussion board. That's going to be really probably our only discussion this semester, unless you have stuff you want to add to the discussion board. We're going to be working pretty independently during the summer. I hope, though, even though we don't have, you know, a really big presence on the discussion board, you'll feel free to reach out to me. Again, email is always the best way to do it, but I can always answer questions in any format that is best for you, phone, in person, or whatever. Skype, even. If you love seeing this face, you can see some more. FaceTime, maybe? I don't know. Just reach out to me, and we can always set something up. So, looking forward to it. I hope it will be a pleasant and educational semester. So, see you on the discussion board. Bye.